So let me see. Here's what I got for you. Everybody listen. Make sure you've gotten everything in that you need to get in. And then, like I said, we'll work on some speaking quizzes from there. So if you are pulling up your current lesson, you can look at it. Otherwise, you can just listen and I'll go through it. So first of all, obviously, are these speaking quizzes. I will let you know who has gone and who has not. And obviously, if you have not gone yet, you need to go today. So we'll start them probably before lunch. And then if you need to finish them up, you can meet me after lunch and finish up. Number two, then it says, when you're done with your speaking quiz, I have 2 textbook activities, both related to vocab to practice. So use your vocab list. It's all new, so I don't expect you to know it yet. You need to use your list. And I will show you, it says make sure to conjugate the vocab word in the correct form as needed. So I'm going to review that with you real quick here in a second before I let you go, and make sure you know how to do that if there's a reflexive on the end. So I'm going to remind you how to do that. Otherwise, then I put Quizlet on there. Obviously, once you get started with your new words, look for cognates, work on 5 to 10 new words, etc. Now, there are 2 other things that I want you to make sure you do. Number 1, that photo album project, 60 points. So obviously make sure that is in, that is a priority. If I have already graded, I've graded like half, so they take me a while. I will give you feedback. And if you don't do super, I will say you can add some more verbs and resubmit, or these verbs aren't in the imperfect, or make sure you use 20 different verbs because some of you repeated them. So feel free to check if you've already turned it in, how you did. And again, if it wasn't like, you know, an A or somewhere in there, I probably said if you want to get a few more points, you can add something. So you should double check that. If you never turned it in, you should absolutely turn it in. You don't want that to turn into a 0 out of 60. Then the other thing is vocab list was due yesterday. That is for your new vocab that you're going to use on these 2 textbook activities. So that should be an easy 10 points. That I give you just for getting yourself set up, and then you have your vocab list to use for all these other activities. So please make sure that is taken care of. Okay, questions for me besides I do want to remind you how to conjugate your reflexive verbs. Anything in general that you're unsure about? Okay, let me turn on a light real quick so that I can show you my board behind me. And then, like I said, I'll actually let you go if you've already done your speaking. All right, so let me put on this other camera so that my Zoom friends can see this. Okay, so Zoom friends, I just want you to look back here real quick so I can remind you about what's on my board. And obviously you guys just look up here real quick. So for one of the textbook vocab activities, it says not only do you have to pick the vocab word based on the picture, but you have to put it in the right form. So that means if it's in the yo form, you got to conjugate it. If it's in the to form, you got to conjugate it. Now these are just present tense. So like for besarse, you'd have beso or besas or besa or besamos. But what I wanted to remind you about is a lot of these are reflexive. That means it has a say on the end, which means that say is going to mutate to the front when you conjugate it. And just reminding you, it could be ne or te or se or nos. So you will need that in the one activity that's vocabulario and uso. So that is what I'm reminding you about here. Okay. Remember, on those activities, 70% or better will get you full credit. So make sure you do that. All right. So those are all the things I need you to be working on. And if you have already done your speaking, I'll tell you who you are. You are welcome to leave the Zoom and go work on those things, okay? That means your 2 textbook activities, make sure your vocab is turned in, and make sure your photo album is turned in and corrected if I've graded it. All right, otherwise, you need to stick around and we'll figure out your speaking. So the following people, I believe, have gone. And assuming this is accurate, then you can leave the Zoom and go work on the other things. You do not need to come back after lunch. Just make sure you're working on all of those things that I just mentioned. So I believe Caitlin is done, and Daly, and Dawson and Carter, Morgan, Demetrius, Anaya, and Hallie, Gabby, Emma, and JJ. So all of you guys are welcome to go. Please complete the assignments. Make sure your photo album and your vocab list are turned in, and I will see you tomorrow. Everybody else stick around so we can do the speaking. Did I think, no. Okay, and Demetrius, you did go, right? Was that, yeah? Okay, thought so. Okay. So, bye. If you're already done, hasta luego. All right, so you guys, let's see. Here's what we're gonna do. I am gonna throw you into a breakout room. You can have, 5 minutes to practice. Then I will come around. Let's see. I'll come around. I might get one or two of you done before lunch. Okay. What I'll do, just to remind you that you can go to lunch. I'll just end the meeting. Okay, when it's time for lunch, and then you need to come back if you didn't get to go after lunch so that I can do the speaking with you. Okay, does that make sense? Yes, yes. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put everybody in a breakout room. You're welcome to, practice, pull up the questions, pull up your answers, do some practice here for a few minutes. And then when I am ready, I will head to your room or disconnect you, and then you need to come back after lunch so that I can do it. Okay, I think everybody should have a room to go to, so I will see you there, or I will see you back after lunch. Okay. Police, it's up to you. Do you want me to squeeze you in before lunch, or would you rather go after lunch? Before? Okay. So I'll do you as soon as you're ready. So if you want to review for a second, and then I'll just come over and we'll do it real quick.
So I can't use my laptop?
You can't use your laptop. Yeah, but you can look at it for now.